Yo, what's happening? It's the effing Side Street Kid back at you again with another episode, Side Street Stories. This is episode, must be episode 16. Got about somewhere in there, 15, 16. Let's see. I think the last story I told before this was the set it off story. So I think that was episode 16. It's out here early morning, Las Vegas, grabbing me some Starbucks. So I get my wake up juice. But I was thinking I got a lot more stories to tell, but I'm trying not to also forget some of the smaller stuff that is not like attached to something with that much notoriety, like the Set It Off soundtrack or something like that. So I thought about, basically it was like the first time I was like meeting people, you know, like in the dungeon and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Or like, this just popped in my head. I was about to tell another story. Now I'm like, I should probably just go all the way back to the origin. Like, people often wonder how I ended up being like associated with the Dungeon family at all, like a member or whatever or whatnot. I'm not. I never looked at the DF as something that you could like join per se, or it's not like a gang or nothing where you could like get quoted on or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's not quite a musical collective either. It's like I tell people mostly like it's more like a real family. Like some people are related by blood, some people are related through like relationship, like we've been partners since kindergarten and we grew up together, or my mama and his mama was best friends, or I don't know, it's all kind of different ways. Like everything's kind of unique, you know what I mean? But for me personally, you know, I was born in LA. I'm from Carson, California. So my mother's sister, my auntie, both, you know, my family come from Alabama, going way back. They come from Alabama. My mother moved to California, which is why I was born there. Her sister moved to Georgia. So her kids were born there, which means I got cousins in Atlanta, right? So, of course, growing up and stuff, I was going back and forth, visiting, stay the summer, stuff like that. And so I tell people a lot of times, like when it comes to DF, probably like Big Gip was probably the first person I ever met. You know what I mean? When I was a little kid, he was my cousin's best friend. So that's how they know each other. And but he's like younger than my cousin. My cousin like 7 years older than me. Gip might be 4 years older than me, something like that. So like when I was coming around, we was still, he might have been older, but we was still kids, you know what I mean? We still played basketball in the backyard and wrestling, like watching wrestling and shit, and like video games, you know what I mean? Man, Gip used to go at it on the video games all the time, like Tecmo Bowl or some shit, whatever we was playing at the time, like little football games on the little video game shit. And we both Tauruses. I think Gip's birthday like maybe a week after mine, something like that. So we both Tauruses. We both stubborn, hot head. We used to go at it on that video game, right? But you know, I known Gip for that long. So then, when I was 15, I got uprooted out of California. You know what I mean? That's another whole long story I might tell another time. But, you know, basically, you know, my mom's wanted me out of California. It was dangerous time, 90s, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to run the streets, you know, not going to school, shit like that. So I had to go. So that's how I ended up hitting Atlanta so young. And so before I left school and everything, Outkast dropped. So Players Ball was already out before I left California. Not the whole album, but the single had came out. Remember, it was on the Christmas soundtrack first, and it kind of blew up off of that. So by now, they got a video out. It's an actual official single. They took the sleigh bells off it, that kind of thing. So I just remember, like, I don't know who called who. My mom might have called my aunt or vice versa, but they was on the phone when I came in the house. And my mom like, yo, your cousin's on the phone, blah, blah, blah. And by this time, I knew I was going to Atlanta, but I still didn't have it stuck in my head that I would be living there. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go for a little while, and I'm getting back to LA because I was still doing my record shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was making records. I had deal offers with my group. You know, we was just too young to sign them. My parents was like, didn't understand what the hell was going on. They like, man, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I end up in Atlanta. My cousin Ray, who produced the Outkast shit with Organized Noise, just remember Organized Noise, he jumps on the phone and he like, yo, you heard my group, blah, 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 it's out. And see, I knew he made the music. It's something about music, like you could feel the energy of shit. Like, I knew that was him. Nobody else would make Players Ball but him. You know what I mean? I was a little confused as to why he wasn't in the video, why he wasn't rapping on the song. Because last I saw him, we was rapping. We was making beats and rapping when I was like 11 or 12. It was like 89. I probably hadn't seen him from like 89 to about 93, something like that, about 4 years. So I didn't understand the whole why there was two other people rapping on it at the time, you know what I mean, which was Outkast. So, but I knew it was him. So when I talked to him, he told me, I'm like, yeah, I knew that was you, I could tell. So he like, yeah, when you get here, you know what I mean, like he was excited, like, you know what I mean, be back, because he knew I was his little cousin that was into the shit the same way he was into it. Like, I loved hip hop. I loved music. That was my whole life at that time. You know what I mean? I didn't care about nothing else but hip hop. So when I get there, you know, I barely put my bags down. His little brother, like, yeah, Ray said, as soon as you get here, page him. You know what I mean? You know, this back when we had pagers. So he paged him. Ray called. He said, you here? I said, yeah. He said, all right. About to send Gip over there because Gip lived around the corner, right? From my aunt's house. And Ray was at the dungeon at Rico Wade's mom's house, which is where all the music was being made at the time. So yeah, he sends Gip around to scoop me up. So Gip pulls up in this, he had a burgundy Isuzu Trooper at the time. So he pulls up in the Trooper, and first time I saw that truck, I fell in love with that truck. That's why first car I ever had was a Isuzu Trooper. Like, I think I was 15 then, so I got my money together, and as soon as I got my license and was able to get a car, I bought a like a tan beige color Isuzu Trooper, had honeycomb wheels on it, everything. I love that truck. So anyway, Gip come scoop me up, and we ride out, and he kind of like starts, inducting me into the whole everything. What's going on? Who's who? How, this kind of stuff. We just riding basically. But he playing the rest of the Outkast album like it wasn't out yet. I hadn't heard none of that shit. So he got like Get Up, Get Out. He got Call of the Wild. He got stuff that they had rapped on pretty much. You know what I mean? Call of the Wild, that kind of stuff. So I'm just listening to him. I hear voices in my head. They keep calling me. It was like totally different from where I was at in LA at the time. I'm listening to Project Blow, Razzcast, Volume 10. I'm like a Good Life head. I'm Wake Up Show, LA hip hop shit. You know what I mean? So, but I'm just vibing with the shit. So we finally pull up to the dungeon, and that's what I met. First time I met, first day, I want to see who was all there. I know like Big Rube was there. I met him first day. I want to say KP was there. Outkast was there. I met them first day. I met Rico first day, obviously. I met who else was there? Mello. 66 Mello was there. It was so many people in and out. I might not have had known some of the people then. They might have been there. I might know them now, but at the time I just didn't know who they was. So I meet Rico. Rico instantly take me under his wing. Man, I'm his partner's little cousin, but people thought we was like brothers or something because to them we looked alike. Like we about the same size, both skinny, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? They wasn't used to no nigga looking like that, other than Ray around there. So they really, just looked out for me. I was like a kid or whatever. So Reek instantly took me to like basically it was like I don't know if I wouldn't call it a pre-production room, but it was like a writer's. It's a spot where like people would go write sometimes, like out instead of being in the dungeon where it's dark. You can't see down there to write. It's dark. Your freestyles got to be up, or you got to remember them raps because you're not reading nothing off no paper in the dungeon. So I guess upstairs is where a lot of the writing was going. So when I went in there, he introduced me to Outkast. Big Boi and Andre was in there on the floor with the notebooks. So shit, I felt at home. That's what I'm looking for. Where I can pull my notebook out at, So I go in there and I got a bag full of tapes with me. I done brought everything I could bring with me out of LA. Beats I made, beats the homies made, songs, raps, whatever. Bag full of notebook, bag full of tapes. So we sit down and I just start playing tapes, playing beats, playing shit. You know what I mean? And I want to say Dre more than Big Boi, it seemed at least at that time, was really into what I had. He was just like kind of fascinated by it because they didn't listen to none of the stuff I listened to. Like at the time, my favorite group was Tribe Called Quest. They didn't listen to Tribe Called Quest. To them, that was like hippie, trippy music or something. They was into the hardcore down south shit that I had never heard of. So they was sharing that kind of shit with me. Like the Hard Boys, Splat Pack, A-Town Players, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? And I'm playing Tribe and De La and shit like that. So Anyway, that's why like actually it makes me a little proud kind of when I see interviews like 3,000 a dude and they'll ask him like, who your favorite rapper? He'd be like, Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest. I know I introduced him to Q-Tip. You know what I mean? And the fact that he feel like that's one of his favorites now. You know what I mean? Shit like that, just being able to bridge the worlds together. Because definitely they taught me about shit to where now I can hear people like, you know, eventually people like T.I. and like even Luda became like some of my favorites. You know what I mean? Outside of like the clique, because I was right there with them. So honestly, like I want to say the good like Outkast and Goody as rappers were like to me still like all-time favorites, like greats. You know what I mean? Like obviously 3,000, but I think sometimes, man, people, I don't know what it is about. I guess they just followers, so 3,000 is the one to latch on to. But man, Big Boi, one of my favorites. You know what I mean? Cujo, favorite. Get favorite. Like I don't even like to put them in competition with each other. I can't say who's better than what. I just think that, man, all these cats are like really great, right? And that developed over time. I ain't gonna say instantly. I thought that everything was so awesome. It took me a while, I guess, for my ear to tune to the music. I liked some stuff, and then other stuff I didn't get. Even all the way up to like when they was doing stuff like Wheels of Steel and pushing the boundaries of like the speed of the music and stuff like that. Man, some of that stuff I was kind of lost on. Like, and y'all just gonna put a hand clap section right there? Where'd that come from? You know what I mean? Shit like that took a minute. I appreciate all of it now. I learned so much in my own music, how to use everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was like how I kind of got introduced to the dungeon, was, you know, getting picked up by Big Gip, taken over to the dungeon, and I did not leave. I thought we was going, you know, just some regular shit, about to pull up, say what's up, woo, woo, wham, and then later on back at my aunt's house, man. I didn't leave the dungeon for probably 3 weeks. I was just there until like my mother shut it down, like, because I was still a minor. I was still 15 or whatever. I was out of school, but I wasn't in college yet. I wasn't working yet, nothing like that. So Mom's was like, he can't just be over there doing that. She didn't really understand what I was doing at the time. She didn't understand music at all. We looked like a bunch of hooligans getting high to her, you know what I mean? So I went through my own trials and tribs with that. But, you know, it is what it is, man. I appreciate the way everything worked out and being able to, like, have those experiences and stuff like that, you know, definitely. But yeah, so that was pretty much how I met them, you know what I mean? And I think I had an advantage being blood related to Ray. They all kind of really treated me like a little brother, like looked out for me, kept me out of trouble, taught me things. They always looked out. They always was putting me on game. Who was who, what, how this worked, what this slang meant, where these people hang out at, and where the girls are, and what clubs, and this, that, and the third. Which is probably why I know so much now about the Atlanta life. But yeah, man, I'm gonna end it there. I'll be trying to keep these stories kind of short, even though they be 15, 20 minutes long. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go ahead and chop it here. I'm gonna have to start doing addendums or something. But yeah, man, SideStreet Kid, it's the effing. SideStreet Stories, episode 16. Check out some of my other ones. Check out some of my music. You know what I mean? If you say you rock with me or friend, or you like the music or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Donate, man. Pick up a song. It's just like 99 cents, man. It'll really be appreciated, though. It goes a long way. Now they say, 33 cents can feed a child. Yeah, man. Out here, $1 can feed a starving musician. So, you know what I mean? Look out for your boy one time. Download something, stream. I'm on Apple Music. It don't even cost you no money. You got Apple Music. Download the album and let a couple songs rock. So, anyway, yeah, man. It's the effing out here. Holla.